Hey, you guys, this is Rashawn Ellis for News, Views, and Conversations. Just want to pop in real quick and give you the latest as to what's going on in our world, and it's getting hot down here, beyond hot. I wanted to leave you with one of the videos that I've discovered this week that has to do with a lot of the protests, people coming out to speak out and stand up for our rights. And there's so many different ways to, protest. I mean, my way of protesting, I come out here on the weekends and let you know what's going on, what's the latest updates, and just, keep people informed as to what's happening. I mean, I think we haven't had anything going on in the United States for some time, like nothing like with us immediately. We watch other countries go through, like Ukraine, what's going on over in Israel, the Gaza, everywhere but here. And now here we are having to do with the same things that other countries are dealing with. So you got to inform everyone as to what's taking place. To, don't take it for granted. Don't take it for a joke. Because so many people, a lot of times, they think, oh, that doesn't have anything to do with me. It's not happening here. So we're good. Well, now we got something happening here. We have someone in office that's trying to turn us into Russia and other countries. I pray to God he's not trying to, hand us over. If you're definitely, trying to like, weaken our military by not allowing people of color or transgenders to, be able to serve to fight for this country if need be. Again, that's my speculation. That's what I think. Nothing that I read or saw anywhere, but what else are you trying to do? Again, just my thoughts, what I'm thinking. So people are definitely coming out to protest and have say so what's going on. Uh, you got firings still taking place in the IRS, within the federal government, people getting fired from FAA, within aviation, which I believe we've had 9 to 11 plane crashes so far. So you're bothering systems where the credentialed, the qualified, the experienced belong and should be in those positions, and they deserve to be there because they're qualified to do the job. Whereas you're pretty much a DEI president, you have a DEI staff, and you're saying because they are white, or the ones that are not white, even the ones that are of color that are Indian and black or whatever, as long as they do what you say, they're qualified. No, they're not. We're watching a lot of people that are qualified, credential, and experienced that should be in these positions. Those are the ones that are getting let go. Even in our military, I think there's a black guy, I didn't get his name yet, a black guy, a white lady, and another white man. They've been let go as well. So I can pretty much see what's at play here. It's like playing in our face. So you're making it look like it's not about uh, color. So what it does mean is it's about them not following your lead. So he's going to be placing people in those positions that do what he says. Yes, men and yes, women. Anybody that's available to be a coward, uh, to be weak, and pretty much kiss ass in order to hold those positions. That's what he's saying. In order to be in Trump's America. That's what this is looking like. That's what it's starting to shape up to. Of course, another play that I see that's happening as well. They had a Black History event at the White House this past week, and Jaguar Wright was there. I can't wait to see how they spin this with giving her the award that they gave her, because of certain things that are, taking shape in entertainment. I can't wait to see how they spin this. As I always say, we got to see how this is going to play out. Again, I still feel like the whole move with having the Black History event that's like playing in our face. Okay, you're pissing off some blacks where they know not to fool with you, but you're over here playing in other black people's face to keep them on board to, make sure since you're pushing for a third term, which we pray to God does not happen, you're playing in their face so they can try to rally for you to get in there for a third time. Again, if you're not propped up by that time, you're 78 now, 79, 80, 81, about 82, 83 years old. So, okay, that tells me right there, you don't care. You're just trying to lead the charge to start the fight for the young ones to keep this mess going on. But pray to God with the protesting, the phone calls, voting, and people standing their ground. And in whatever ways we have to protest to make our voices heard, to keep our democracy, to keep things moving how we have had them moving. Yeah, we can all stand to make some changes and do some things differently, but not this way. Not with someone coming in, gutting the system, coming in, kicking over tables and chairs and throwing things across the room to, get what they want done. make it be where, okay, if they feel like they're paying too much in taxes by them being rich, let's sit down at the table and discuss this with the people before you come in and just take your way and take people off of whatever assistance that they're getting or whatever they've worked and earned their lifetime and should have. Let's talk about it instead of handling it this way, because this is definitely not the way to get things done at all. People's lives are being lost. I think they also mentioned something about giving us a $5,000 stimulus check. Well, as far as I'm concerned at this point, that's blood money. People just died in airplane crashes because important people were fired that were doing their job to control air traffic control. People just died in airplane crashes. So you want to give us that blood money. That's how I look at it. And you're also firing people. People are losing jobs. So that's like sacrificial money. Like they lost their jobs or lost their lives. And now you want to give that money to the people and act like you're doing the right thing. Again, they don't like woke because they don't want anybody to see what they're doing and peep the bull of what's happening. It's complete foolishness. As I said before, it's so much to cover, to see what's happening. You got a lot of the senators, a lot of the government officials, speaking about what we're sitting here watching. And I mean, I would also like to say that, I've always worked corporate and I've seen a lot of things take place. And one thing I will say is anytime I've ever experienced any layoffs, they come in and they move people around, move people out, different things take shape. But I'll always say when they do that, there's so many cracks and crevices to how things are actually connected. And when you begin to take apart one thing, it affects this situation. You take apart that thing, it affects that situation. In some kind of way, it ends up messing up everything. So whatever they thought they were fixing, it didn't fix it. You needed that to make this work. You needed this to make that work. Again, it doesn't make sense to me. He may know what he knows, but he does not know our government system. And so, of course, we got to see how this all plays out. A lot of times I like to say, I think God allows things to happen so the people can now see. So the MAGA people that thought that he was so down for them, especially the ones in the red states, they're about to find out. I've read a lot of the comments tonight on YouTube, people getting smart, saying stuff. And of course, they had some choice words for me too. Again, I've definitely opened my platform. If you have anything to say, I'm about to pull a Kamala. Say it to my face. You can come on the platform and on the show and tell everybody what you just said and why you feel the way you feel about what I said as far as us being a democracy and why you're making the comments that you're making. So it's really getting really getting crazy. I mean, I've watched all of the shows, pretty much mainstream, what they're saying. I mean, I think I forgot the guy, he works on Fox. He even made a comment saying someone that he knows now is being affected with the federal government layoffs. So now it's starting to hit them, the ones that have been supporting this mess, this cult, this Jim Jones mess, the ones that have been supporting it. Now you feeling some kind of way because yeah, now your people are getting touched, people that you know, and they ain't black. They're qualified, I'm sure, to have their jobs. And like I said earlier, that's what it looks like they're trying to do. They're trying to put who they want in place. So it doesn't matter if they're black, white, Indian, whatever. He just wants yes people. So while you're hurting these black people over here, you got the other ones at the White House making them think that you cool with them as long as they do what he says. This is madness. Again, like I said, this is madness, but I'm glad to see that a lot of people are standing up. And I mean, there's plenty of ways to protest. You can protest like how I protest. I protest by, informing you, having my shows like I do. I post about it. The government number. Let me look real quick. But make sure I give you this stuff so y'all can call and, make sure you stand up for what you believe in so you don't just stand here. You're not informed. You don't know what's going on and you wonder why everything is going haywire. I mean, we have these shows for a reason to, make people aware of what's happening. The U.S. Capitol switchboard number is 202-224-3121. So you can call that number and make your grievance be known. You can protest. You can post. You can have a YouTube channel to get out here and say, hey, this is not right. What's going on? I'm understanding also they're having town hall meetings in a lot of the different states. We just had one in Roswell, Georgia, which is like about maybe 30, 45 minutes from where I live. Um, where those people, hey, they had a whole lot to say. And the guy, I forgot his name, representative, he's sitting there trying to pass it off and say they're equivalent to the January Sixers just because they had a voice in saying what's going on and this is not what we want. So people are protesting and coming out in a lot of ways. Like I said, YouTube, uh, posting about it, calling that number I just gave you, town hall meetings, and definitely at the poll when it's time to vote for sure. But there's a lot of ways to protest and have your voice be heard. And I think right now what's happening is getting louder. And of course, our officials that are in place to fight for us, their lawsuits are flying everywhere. So it's going down. So we're being heard in more ways than one. I just want to make sure I cover my bases as far as like, giving you the information as much as possible, telling you what to follow, to go out there, like, hear this is what I say. Hear what mainstream is saying so you can compare notes. That's what I do. Hear what they're saying and also come out here on YouTube because it's a lot of good channels out there. Midas Touch, The Warning. It's a whole lot of them out there. You will see them in a lot of videos that I do because I was trying to like pull from what they're talking about and give you that information. So it's a lot of ways to get the information of what's going on so that way you know your rights, you know what other people are doing. We can piggyback off of that to come together as a unit because that's what the United States is supposed to be about. Togetherness, everyone for everyone. It's not about your color. And we don't have any kings or queens over here either. So we definitely got to keep that in play for people to know that and understand that. So again, just dropping in to give y'all this information and definitely hit the like button and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. And again, as I always say, if there's any information that you want me to cover, definitely send us an email at seanellis.entertainment2@gmail.com. And I would definitely like to take a look and see what you're talking about and see what we can do to, bring that to YouTube. I will see you guys in the next video and make it a great one.
This President's Day saw protests throughout the Bay Area and nationwide. 2 protests in San Francisco, both aimed at President Donald Trump, his new administration, and Elon Musk. Here's NBC Bay Area Sergio Quintana in San Francisco.
Musk and Trump out!
At the Tesla store on Van Ness in San Francisco, people packed the sidewalk outside with all kinds of handwritten signs. The organizer of this protest calls this a Not My President's Day demonstration, with Tesla owner Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency that he's in charge of the main focus of their ire. They say no participants went into the dealership, but one protester did have words with the customer who was inside when the demonstration started.
One guy in there, we saw him doing a deal. He came out, and I said, shame on you. He was a young guy.
Trump and Musk have got to go!
Among those at this event are former members of the National Park Service. Charlotte Beltran says she was laid off by the federal government last week.
I think I'm still in shock. Lots of anger and frustration about the whole situation. And sadness, definitely.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
A couple blocks away outside San Francisco City Hall, a larger, loosely organized group gathered at Civic Center Plaza. But their signs were about the same, aimed at President Trump and Elon Musk.
Thank you for showing up today. We cannot be complicit.
This group started out small about noon with about a couple hundred people, but continued to grow through the lunch hour and beyond. A couple city park rangers estimated about 1,500 people in this group. A lot of the people that I've talked with today say they turned out to this demonstration because, in part, they just wanted to be around other people. The Sylvester family drove in from Marin County to be here.
I've been feeling just really discouraged and depressed and helpless, and this really is boosting my spirit to come out and feel connected to these people that are fighting for democracy.
Duncan, his wife, a neighborhood friend, and their daughter held signs along with the rest of the group. Larkin Sylvester says she also appreciates being around so many like-minded people. How have the last few weeks been?
Kind of weird and scary and like, whoa, what's going on?
This demonstration is part of a nationwide call to protest at every state capitol and city hall. In San Francisco, Sergio Quintana, NBC Bay Area News.
This is not what the American public deserves. This is not what they voted for. And I don't think this is even what the Republicans voted for. There's things that are going on that were not part of the political program, like all this nonsense that's going on with Greenland and renaming the Gulf. It's just a diversion of what these criminals are up to.
Absolutely.
And it's time that the public wakes up and actually does something about it.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
Whose street? Our street! Whose street? Our street! Whose street? Our street! Whose street? Our street! Whose street? Our street!
This was done in 2017 for the Women's March when Trump first got to office. And it's still good today because we're in more hot water than we ever are. And I'm afraid for our country and the world right now. It's not a joke. And all you people with your double lattes just talking on Facebook isn't the answer. You feel you're doing something because you're talking about it, but you're not doing something till you do something.
Absolutely. And what do you think about the Democrats' response to all this? They've been warning us for years about Trump and fascism, but their response to this...
They have had their nose up their ass, and I've supported them with money and everything else, and it was pissing down a rat hole.
What brings me out here is terror. I just can't believe we got to where we are today, and we got to do something now. I have grandkids that can't possibly have this coming.
This is the real deal.
Tell me, what do you think about Trump basically outsourcing presidency to Elon Musk? Yeah, we can walk.
It's horrible. It's just, I mean, it's hard to believe that it's real because it's so awful. It's just so hard to believe. And, you know, Musk is just, I mean, Trump is just a puppet. Musk is doing it all.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh, so horrible. And Project 2025, they've had this planned for so long. And if they didn't get it now, it's going to be Project 2029. It's just awful. We have to fight. We have to fight. We can't let our democracy go down the drain. We just can't.
And you know, Democrats have been warning about Trump as a fascist for years. But their response to his actions have been very minimal up until this point.
He's terrorized everybody. That's how he's got here over these 10 years. Everybody in Congress, he got rid of anybody that was saying no to him. He just picked everyone off one by one by one. I saw him doing it since 2016. He's a horrible human being. He's a monster. And Musk is even worse. They don't care about lives. They don't care about anybody. All they care about is their own wealth and power. They don't care about the lives that they're losing in U.S. aid. They don't care about our lives. They don't care about our Social Security and Medicare. They want us to be sick. They want us to be weak so that they can have power over us. That's the goal, and we must stop it.
Absolutely. And what is some of your biggest concerns when it comes to Trump's power grab and demolition of government agencies? Is there a particular area you're concerned about?
I'm worried about the EPA, number one.
EPA?
Number one, because if we don't have a planet, we're all gone. That's the most important thing. That's the biggest priority as far as I'm concerned. And he's just eating away at everything. They don't care if they ruin the world. Musk is going to go to Mars. So he doesn't care what happens to the planet.
But let me ask you this. The question has been posed, and I want your answer. Could it happen here? Well, it is happening here. The woman over here said it is happening here, and she's right. And it's already pretty far along. And what is the it? Fascism. And Sam just told you what that means. What that means. This country has committed unbelievable crimes over a long time, most recently and continuing in Gaza. And now they want to take over Greenland, Panama. This does not mean that there isn't a qualitative change in the form of rule that we live under. And Sam is exactly right. If we don't stop this now, the ability to hold rallies like this may be no more. She asked the question, could we actually drive out Trump? Well, that would be an unprecedented thing to do, but this is a time to unprecedented on President's Day and to set some new precedents of driving out a regime.
Yeah, my concerns are that there's an unelected person who is currently apparently in charge of the US government telling the president what to do, and the president just listens to that. And this is not what the American public deserves. This is not what they voted for. And I don't think this is even what the Republicans voted for. There's things that are going on that were not part of the political program, like all this nonsense that's going on with Greenland and renaming the Gulf. It's just a diversion of what these criminals are up to.
Absolutely.
And it's time that the public wakes up and actually does something about it. And the only mechanism that we have is protesting. And I think it's good that people are coming out for that. Finances have always run this country, but it is now, it has reached a level that is really concerning because it is irreversible. Right. And that's why it is now so urgent that we actually do something while it is still fresh. If this continues for another 4 years, there won't be another election. And I agree. It's a handful of people who own the majority of the wealth in this country, and they ruthlessly use their means to achieve their goals. And this does not represent the goal of these people or the goals of people in whatever Wisconsin. They voted for somebody and had no idea what's going to happen.
Right. And, you know, we've been warned about fascism, about Trump for years, but Democrats, their response to all this has been pretty tame and not as like...
Yes, well, they responded incorrectly. Their response, in my opinion, was the wrong subjects, the wrong topics. They allowed the Republicans to be pushed into a corner where the discussion was about the rights of trans and gay people, which I totally respect, but that's the wrong topic. It's the wrong topic. We need to talk about the needs of the regular people, which is number one, healthcare and education. And the Democrats have failed to actually bring that message home. They made the mistake of allowing the Republicans to dictate the topics. And of course, it's so easy for them to get everybody upset about whatever, that whole nonsense on trans people. This is a so small fraction of the population. Meanwhile, nobody, absolutely nobody that I know is happy with their health insurance. People go bankrupt in this country. And did the Democrats talk about that? Hell no.
So y'all, it's up to us. We gotta be mobilized to stand up, to resist in the streets and throughout society. We gotta have the federal workers who've been purged rising up. We've gotta have the teachers who are being muzzled from teaching the truth about the white supremacist roots and current reality of the United States. We gotta have them rising up. We've gotta have the healthcare workers who are being told that they gotta let women die instead of providing them with abortion care. They've gotta be rising up. We've gotta have the healthcare workers who are being told to deny gender-affirming, life-saving care to our youth to be rising up.
And I can tell you, the first thing that happens is they get rid of the judiciary. The second thing that happens is they erode trust in the media.
And the third thing that's going to happen now is they're going to teach your children oh too well about how fabulous America is without looking at the true story so that we learn from mistakes. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you will never truly be great. Fight the fear, fight the lies, and make sure that we keep our country open and available for everyone, not just a few. My biggest concern is his dismantling of institutions and trampling on all of our rights. I mean, if he wants to do something within the law that I disagree with, well, I'll disagree. But if he wants to start dismantling our government and dismantling democracy, then I'm out on the streets. And that's what I really seriously am concerned about. 4 years ago, we laughed him off. But I think he had 4 years to prepare, and I think he is incredibly prepared now. And I think he is in with all of these institutions like Heritage and Project 2025. And I'm absolutely convinced that we should take him at his word and that he will start to be an autocratic king. And that we should take him at his word. We should believe him for what he says. And we should fight like hell to make sure that his wishes don't come true.
If you believe in the promise of America, or if, like me, you believe the promise of America was seen in slavery and genocide of the native people and it continues around the world, then I tell you what, we need to be sharing the same stage right now. We need to be discussing why are we facing fascism? Fascism wasn't installed in America now by a coup. They tried that 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 4 years ago. It was installed through a legitimate election. And now the Democrats are telling you to respect that. Fascism, whether elected, fair, or fraudulent, is never legitimate.
I teach kindergarten, and since I was in kindergarten myself, the basis of social and emotional learning has been fairness and kindness. And I cannot believe what I see in front of me with this administration and its deliberate cruelty. Its policies just are deliberately cruel to every vulnerable part of the population they could possibly single out. And it makes it hard to know what to say to children when they ask you what is going on or what do you think of Trump, because as a teacher you're supposed to stay neutral. It's very difficult. I'm not going to stop teaching anti-racism the way that I've taught it for as long as I've been a teacher, and most of the teachers that I know feel the same way. But to have schools under attack and the Department of Education under attack, I'm a special ed teacher. Funds for special education do come from the Department of Education. And I don't know what to expect, but I will be out here fighting.
It is not true that the protests of 2020 accomplished nothing. That is not true, even as they've continued to murder black and brown people at rates surpassing what happened before then. Even though the president and vice president took a knee and put some kente cloth on in the Capitol, and a year and a half later said, fund the police, fund the police, fund the police. So we have to talk about why that happened.
Elon Musk is a Nazi. I mean, he told everybody very clearly that he's a Nazi. And so there's a strong racial and ethnic component to that. And this hatred of people based on who they are genetically has to stop. We're all in this together. No matter what race, where we come from, sex. So, So hopefully we need to keep getting out into the streets because the normal avenues of recourse are closing. You know, he's not obeying judges, so we can't necessarily rely on the system to bring recourse. So we have to think of creative ways. We have to work together to bring change and sort of reimagine our society, you know. So, and I agree to an extent with Hakeem Jeffries that they don't. There's not a lot that they can do politically, especially if the president is just blatantly disregarding the law. You know, what can they do? You know, so I feel like it's incumbent upon us, the people, to do what they can do. So I'm not being super hard on the Democrats. You know, I'm disappointed with their response to the Gaza conflict, you know, because of their taking contributions from being beholden to AIPAC. You know, that really made me lose a lot of respect for them. But, you know, I still think that at the end of the day, it's incumbent upon us, the people, to sustain a democracy. We can't. It's a democracy. It's about the people. It's not just about the politicians. We can't continue to just point fingers at them. What are we doing?